Bro, what is this production?
Oh!
Oh my god.
That nigga got his brain.
And the thing that I really appreciate about Tank is he's a dog. That kind of that what he just said. You can put them earmuffs up and go at it. He kind of will assess you as well, and whatever he needs to do, he'll do it.
Jake Paul has given his reaction to the recent sparring and training footage of Gervonta "Tank" Davis that went viral on social media. His response is creating a lot of buzz. The video shows Davis looking more sharp, fast, and explosive than ever as he gets ready for his upcoming fight. Fans are now excited and wondering if Tank is stepping into the best phase of his career. Davis has built his reputation in the lighter weight divisions he usually fights around, 133 to 135 pounds, and has never officially gone over 140 pounds in professional matches. On the other hand, Paul is naturally a cruiserweight and usually competes closer to 200 pounds, which is the weight he recently came in at for his fights. This is not just a small weight difference, but a gap that spans multiple divisions. With such a wide difference, many other factors come into play. A heavier fighter often holds the edge in areas like strength, toughness, punch resistance, and physical control. At that point, it is not just about skill, but also about who can take a shot and keep performing.
Something else that's unfortunate is the idea that Jake Paul might actually fight Gervonta "Tank" Davis. This can't be real. When it came up a couple of months ago, I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to cover this because there's no way it's real. There's no way they're really going to do that because it makes no sense. Why would you do that for him? Outside of it, like, okay, you can look at it like an exhibition, which it will be, and we'll take a look at some of the rule set for it. But Gervonta Davis is one of, if not the best, biggest names at 135 pounds, and is an active in his prime fighter. I don't want to hear the similar to Floyd and Logan thing, because at that point, Floyd was retired. Floyd had done all he needed to do in the sport. Tank is still in his prime, still has multiple high-level opponents that he needs to fight. And you can say, oh, you know, the Jake would be a one-off. Side quest. That's fine, but that just tells me that Tank doesn't care about being a high-level champion in the sport anymore.
Armamaton recently reflected on a sparring session he had with Davis when he was around 15 or 16 years old. He shared that he felt nervous at the beginning, but the session quickly became more of a chess match than a brawl. It was not just about power, but also about timing, speed, and counters. Motten explained that Davis did not go all out trying to knock him out. Instead, they exchanged movements and rhythm in a smart and strategic way. He mentioned that Davis's strength was definitely there, but when it came to pure skill and speed, they went back and forth. Moten described the session as fun, tough, and an important moment in his growth as a fighter.
What was it like when you sparred him? I know you sparred Tank early on.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? Like, replay that experience for me. Like, you coming out of it, what was your thought?
Yeah, I was nervous at first. I think I was 15 at the time we sparred, so he wasn't really like trying to knock me out or nothing like that. But we was going like, he was using the speed on me. Like, we was both like going speed for speed, and it was great. It was like a chess match.
Did you understand in that moment like why he is who he is?
Yeah, I seen why he's able to beat these guys. Then I also seen why I'm so like I got all this hype around me too.
Sean Porter spoke out in support of Davis's choice to take part in an exhibition match with Jake Paul, saying that many people are missing the bigger point. In his view, the fight is not about proving who is the best in the ring, but about making sure Davis and his family are financially secure. Since it is an exhibition, the risks are reduced through agreed rules and safety steps, and the main focus is on putting on a good show. Porter pointed out that fighters usually have short careers and need to grab chances that offer both visibility and money. Seen this way, Tank Davis taking the fight is not about giving up on legacy, but about making a smart move for his future. While still entertaining the fans, Porter's comments underline the tough balance between those who care about tradition and those who have to think about life after boxing.
They're trying to make it safer and, you know, all those sorts of things, but there's still this pureness to boxing that really doesn't exist in sports anymore, but it's still there with boxing. I think that's why people have such a problem with this kind of move from Tank Davis.
Is it more the heart? How do you guys feel being boxers?
Man, like once you hear the numbers, I'm like they're talking like I don't know the official one. They're talking about like 100 mil.
Oh damn.
Like, they're talking about these insane numbers. Like I'm gonna be like, don't take that. I'm not gonna tell another man not to take that type of check, especially for something like that. It's not on your official record. It's an exhibition. I'm not gonna lie here and act like I'm not gonna say yes to 100 million or something like that. But I do see exactly what you're saying about the essence of boxing. I wish they would kind of separate a little more because exhibitions have always been a thing. There's always been an argument.
Right.
But they're just selling it like a real fight almost.
Right.
So I think that maybe if we could create a better like distinction, more of a difference.
Right.
There might be less hate on it, but at the end of the day, man, I'm not gonna tell Tank not to take that fight.
And I said this last year. I said create a influencer title. And let those guys fight over there in the influencer world. They can live the world and the life of I'm a world champion without having to do something like this. Now, the issue for this that I have is you have a legitimate 135-pound champion fighter getting in the ring with a 190-pound guy, whatever it is that Jake Paul is at. So now we already let's really answer this thing.
On the other hand, many feel that despite the excitement surrounding it, the mismatch makes the fight more of a show than a serious or fair contest. Even those involved in promoting it seem to recognize this special rules like setting a catch weight at 195 pounds using bigger gloves and labeling the fight as an exhibition are all signs of the risks involved. For some, it is not just about the weight difference, but the fact that Gervonta has faced top-level opponents in his career, while Jake has far less experience at that level many expect. Davis to slip and land clean shots and make Jake appear awkward even with the size difference recently took aim at Jake Paul's choice to shift attention from Anthony Joshua to a fight with Gervonta Tank Davis, saying it felt like a step down from what fans were expecting. Sonan argued that unlike Paul, Tank is not naturally skilled at promoting fights or creating buzz. He lets his performance in the ring speak for itself, but does not have the same promotional flair that Paul has developed over time, while Sonnen recognizes Tank's clear talent and reputation. As a fighter, he believes the event would not attract the same level of interest without Paul's ability to create storylines and media hype. In Sonnen's opinion, the success of the fight relies more on Paul's promotional power than on the matchup itself.
It is the exact opposite of Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul for 2. So the fight that was being dangled and rumored in front of us, the exact opposite has happened. The opposite of fighting Anthony Joshua is not fighting nobody. The opposite of fighting Anthony Joshua is fighting Tank Davis. Okay. So there's one big glaring issue for me. It's just your partner being Tank Davis. Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. It could be a title fight, a contenders fight, a main event fight. He could be the favorite. He could be the underdog. Tank doesn't know how to bring that information to you guys in a way that is compelling. And Tank is already blinking in this situation. You have one guy who is argued amongst the pound for pound current greats in boxing. You have another guy that has suggested he should not even be allowed to box, that he should have to call it something different. He should not be licensed. He should not be ranked in the top 14. He should never be selected for a world title. Okay. Now, Tank has one job to do, which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport.
Over time, Davis's opinion of Jake Paul has noticeably changed. In the beginning, he brushed Paul off as nothing more than an attention seeker, often mocking his statements and viewing him as a joke in the boxing world. But as Paul began to train more seriously and earn some credibility, Davis's attitude started to shift. He has since given Paul credit for his dedication, mental strength, and consistent effort in the gym. Although Davis still does not see Paul as a top-level boxer, he now seems more open to the possibility of facing him in the ring, partly because of Paul's large following and ability to draw public interest.
How about Jake? What do you think of Jake?
Clown. He's a clown. I know that Jake can't fight. He can't fight. So
would you look at it as a joke if your team was like, yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like, come on, man?
I laugh at him. You want me to fight him? At first, I didn't like how Jake Paul was coming because of how he was making it look. But now that I see that, I feel as though he's still a clown because that's his personality. I'm starting to respect it because he's not doing it like for the hype. He was really like trying to be a boxer. I think that he's decent.
Yeah,
like he's good. I mean, he's not good, but he's going that way.
Is he better than you thought he'd be?
Yeah. Gotta be mentally tough to be in a box. So that's why I don't take that away from some fighters or some people that want to jump into the sport. So just show how tough you are. That's how it should be.
Jake Paul's dominant victory over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has significantly boosted his standing in the boxing world. The event in Anaheim broke the venue's gate revenue record, even surpassing shows led by top-tier fighters, which shows just how strong his commercial appeal has become. Well-known names like Oscar De La Hoya now view Paul as someone genuinely serious about the sport, and some even believe he could compete for a world title. Manny Pacquiao also pointed out that regardless of any remaining skepticism, Paul's commitment to the sport is clear. The fight also helped improve his technical reputation with analysts, highlighting his ability to stay composed and control the action even under pressure.
Canelo Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., it's a real fight. Yeah. Look, people keep talking about Jake Paul, well, he's not a real fighter, this and that. Well, he's fighting a real fighter now in Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. It's going to be a good test for both guys. Obviously, Jake Paul, he's a masterclass promoter in what he does. He's been doing some great things. I mean, Mike Tyson, 60 million people. Fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who, when he trains, when he gets in shape, when he's focused, he will be dangerous for anybody. Look, Canelo Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So there's a lot of stories to come out from this, a lot of great stories for Jake Paul. So I just feel honored and proud that we can team up with MVP Promotions, with Jake Paul, and we can make Zurdo Ramirez with Torticos the mandatory. That's going to be a bloodbath in itself. So we're excited.
Jake Paul has officially announced that his second phase in boxing is just getting started, and this time is focused on facing real boxers across the division. After beating Andre August, Paul said he is moving away from crossover or MMA opponents and is now committed to the traditional boxing path, targeting legitimate professional fighters. In a CNN interview, emphasized his plan to fight everyone, especially the biggest and toughest opponents where he might be seen as an underdog, so he can prove himself inside the ring. This determination is clear across his public statements and interviews. Paul wants to move beyond being just a spectacle and aims to build a lasting legacy by taking on credible challengers and showing he belongs among the sport's elite.
So everybody's been calling you out, Daniel Dubois, Ryan Garcia, all these people. Who's the most enticing to you?
Oh no, I want to fight them all, to be honest. I just need the time. So I probably will literally fight all of them. So they're all enticing to me.
The large weight gap between Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis was too big to ignore, which led Georgia to refuse approval for the fight. As a result, Paul's team withdrew their permit application in Georgia and chose to hold the event in Miami instead. This kind of shift shows just how tricky it is to organize major exhibition matches. Its local officials focus on safety, fairness, and risk, not only on financial gain. For Davis, being turned down in Georgia reveals the ongoing doubts about him. For Paul, moving the fight to Miami suits his style, helps generate headlines, and keeps the excitement alive. This decision affects fan perception, changes the event planning, and highlights how sensitive the business side of boxing can be.
There's no way in hell this fight was ever going to happen. And the fact that y'all believed it, I don't know, you're stupid. So Rick Thompson, chairman of the Georgia Athletic Commission, told USA Today Sports that Paul's promotion company withdrew its request for permits and a rule waiver, citing the 65-pound weight difference between the fighters. The Rick Thompson guy straight up said they've been promoting something they should not have been. Come on, guys, like, use your brains. Y'all boxing fans, you understand this. This fight was never going to happen. This is the article from USA Today. It says the status of the proposed fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis under scrutiny because of the weight discrepancy between the two fighters. Rick Thompson is coming out and saying this stuff because he said he believes it's in the public's best interest to know that they've been promoting something they should not have been. Communications director for the Office of the Secretary of State told USA Today Sports the event will not be happening. But funny enough, tickets are still available. You could still purchase them online, and the fight is still listed on the State Farm Arena event.
Critics say Jake Paul's rise in boxing relies not only on promotion, but also on a certain disrespect toward fighters from earlier generations. They argue that by bringing retired legends back into the ring with the lure of large paychecks, he weakens the sport's integrity. While fans get excited seeing icons like Mike Tyson return after long retirements, it also brings up serious questions about their safety.
Out there taking on Mike Tyson that's pushing 60 years old, for crying out loud, but at the same time pretending to be like this badass motherfucker, sending me DMs talking. He offered me a contract a long time ago. And I was like, what are you doing? I'm a retired fighter and I've got one eye. Why would I want to fight you? I wouldn't lower myself to doing that. I know a lot of people do that. They do lower themselves, if you want to say that, because of the payday. Because Jake Paul is a big name. He is a social media sensation. He's a YouTube star. And now, of course, in the world of boxing, he's one of boxing's biggest stars because he puts on these spectacles like Paul versus Tyson, like Nate Diaz, because these are the fighters, these are the names that attract the eyes. Jake Paul is the B-side to almost every single one of his fights. When he fought Nate Diaz, people were tuning in for Nate Diaz. His last fight, against Cesar Chavez Jr., apparently no one watched that fight. Apparently the pay-per-views were ridiculously low. So this one's going back to Netflix on November 14th, and it's an exhibition bout. Of course, it's an exhibition bout because no athletic commission in their right mind will sanction this fight. There's just no way you can make this a legitimate fight because of the size advantage. Typically, this would be very, very dangerous, and someone could get really hurt. If Jake Paul was to swing as hard as he could and connect and wobble him and hit him many times and not knock him out, with the bigger gloves and the concussion possibilities and the brain rattling around inside the head, and Jake Paul just teeing off at him as hard as he could, it's dangerous. That's why fights like this can't get sanctioned. That's why this is a exhibition bout and not a real matchup. Now listen, they're both going to get paid tremendously. They're going to make a ton of money, and a lot of people are going to tune in and watch it on Netflix. Fair play.
In the end, the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis event highlights just how much the line between sport and entertainment has become unclear. Some see it as a mismatch, while others view it as a major business move, giving both fighters exposure, big paydays, and new opportunities. The difference in weight, the change of venues, the promotional strategies, and the questions about legitimacy will always surround this fight. But for fans, critics, and those inside the sport, maybe how these two very different fighters manage the pressure, the public perception, and the consequences when fight night arrives. Whether people remember it as a spectacle or a turning point in crossover boxing, its impact will be felt for a long time.
Optically, visually, seeing that go viral, and I mean go viral, and Jake Paul will never hear the end of it.
We're gonna have to help you up. We're gonna have to help you up.
We're gonna see about it.
Help you up.
We're gonna...
Because Gervonta Tank Davis is not only a real boxer, he's a real boy. He's 5'5". He's a lightweight. Skills pay the bills. Let him knock out Jake Paul, give him Bambi legs, or knock him down. Gervonta Tank Davis, that moment will go viral, and he will be a far bigger, well-known boxer than he is today, and he will also be a hero. And that's the Black Two Sugars. That you guys don't want to admit it. Don't bull jive. Think about it.
What do you think? Does this fight make sense, or is it too one-sided to take seriously? Share your thoughts in the comments below.